Hi everyone, this is my second live Blitz game, playing on the chess.com server. My opponent opened up with e4, playing my favorite defense, the Sicilian defense. That's not the main move. The main move is knight f3, not knight c3. This is a Grand Prix attack. I don't know a whole lot about it. Right now I'm just trying to get a small center. And my opponent is developing his kingside pretty quickly. Castling. Usually against the Grand Prix, I go for a fianchetto structure because the A1 to H8 diagonal is typically open, and it makes for a really good dark square bishop if you can put it on that diagonal. Okay, what's gonna happen? I want to try to keep the center open along the diagonal like I was talking about, and I'm just gonna keep developing my pieces as opposed to taking my opponent's, so I can just keep moving my pieces into place, and if he wants to make some exchanges, fine, like so, but he's the one using the tempo to make this exchange while I keep putting my pieces into play. I do have a check on b6. Maybe if he moves his dark square bishop, I can okay, well, the check is taken away from me now. I'm just gonna move my last minor piece and get ready to castle. Okay. I'm gonna castle. He might push his f pawn. Maybe not. Okay. My center pawn was now he might push his e pawn and try to lock up my bishop. Yep, that's what he went for. Yeah, I can get some sort of fork against those pieces. Maybe by playing this first. Try to get my knight a little bit more active. I have to move the rook. Only place I can move my rook without losing it. I'm starting to feel a little bit of pressure. I don't particularly like the fact that my dark square bishop is blocked in so much. Okay, so that's interesting. He's expanding on the king side to hit my knight. I might leave his king open. Wonder how I can exploit that. Might move my queen to h4. Looks like a pretty active square for it, and then it'll hit g4 again. Okay, so I have a little less than a minute more than my opponent, which is not usually the case for me. Usually I use more of my time. So my opponent might run into some time trouble as the game progresses. Okay, so he defends the pawn with his queen. I still almost like this idea, just putting the pressure on. I really need to, okay, I'm feeling a little cramped here. Maybe that wasn't the best choice. I I need to somehow free my knight and bishop. I'm just moving this pawn so I can free up my rook from the defense of it since the bishop was hitting it. Okay. Well, with that queen move, my rooks are still connected. I don't have any sort of concrete plan right now. My knight's looking pretty bad, and my bishop's looking even worse. Hmm.
Are you still there?
I'll hit the knight. He defends the knight? Man, what am I doing here? I'm going to move my bishop to, even though it looks underdeveloped, I'm going to move it to that diagonal because it's actually doing more than it was sitting on g7. I still have a lot more time than my opponent. Okay. I want to push that pawn up to c4 and put some pressure on the knight's defense. Hmm. Actually, this is kind of an interesting game. I'm still looking if I can maybe exploit his open king side. I don't know. I think I'm going to ignore that pawn push. You want to keep the tension, right? Always keep the tension. We'll see what he wants to do about that. I'm sure he doesn't like the fact that I didn't take it. He has less than a minute. I have a minute 45. Okay, so my opponent might be running out of time. I'm just gonna guard, and oh wow, I just hung my rook. Darn it. Yeah, my rook is completely hanging there. Yeah, wow. Well, that might have been a game loser. That's kind of disappointing. Actually, very disappointing. Maybe if I just play really fast, my opponent won't be able to do anything. That's the hope. I don't think he has a mate against me, as long as I play carefully. And maybe he only has 20 some seconds left. I might be able to just win on time, we'll see. I am down a piece. I have this passed pawn though. He has 20 seconds left. I would rather beat my opponent with my pieces than on time. But, you know, a win's a win. Stopping any checks here on the back rank. I don't know what my opponent can do about this. Not much time for him left. Especially if I keep making quick moves, it's going to be even harder. Yeah, this game looks like it's about to wrap up in a couple seconds. Maybe if I just make a threat, he'll have to think about it, and that's what uses the time. Okay, so that was my second live blitz. Definitely not extremely informative, and it wasn't played too well on my part, but we got a win, and that's all we can ask for, right? Alright, thanks for watching.